Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. Welcome to a surprise Sunday stream. Welcome to Baltimore. Apparently, as we can tell, there is a lot of Southwest aircrafts here. And I'm happy to report that today's flight, we will be actually in a Southwest aircraft. We'll be in the Boeing PMDG 737. Did I time it right? Welcome on in, Barry. Welcome on in. So, exciting news. BeyondATC had a pretty substantial update come out, was it last night or this morning? One of the two. Here in the US at least. And we have our first integration of GSX. And apparently it's mostly just kind of pushback and gate assignment, from my understanding. And then there were some updates with its software overall, with like parking, and then the smoothness. And I'm telling you, like, look at the plane move right here. Look at this 737 here move. Like, that is silky smooth. That reminds me of the days of previous BeyondATC. I think it's once they added in like LLM is where like the stuttering started happening, and that seems to be rectified. That does seem to be rectified. Alright, as I said, we are here in the PMDG. Now this is unofficially supported in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. There is a trick to make it work. There's a trick to make it work without having to spawn on the runway. All that which you can find on the PMDG Discord forum. There's actually like a thread in there that has it in there. But I did 2 flights with it last night with said trick, and it's been flawless. Now, knowing that the trick of not having to spawn at the gate, or sorry, on the runway, is also disabling the walk-around in every aircraft. So keep that in mind as well. You will not have the walk-around ability. So I don't know if that breaks certain planes, such as the 408, maybe? Possibly? Who knows? Alright, so again, we are using, surprisingly, we're using GSX. Now we're going to see how this all works, because as I've said in the past, GSX and me are not the greatest of friends. But we can see here we have GSX going. We can go SimBrief connected. That's all grand. And it's saying it's beautiful and grand there. We can go ahead and request boarding. And in theory, GSX will kind of do its thing, right? Maybe. Perhaps. Welcome in, Will. Welcome on in. I don't think GSX is doing anything. Let's try it again. I figured I'd give GSX another chance. Request boarding.
Boarding requested.
There we go. It is thinking this, so let's do that. Grand. Okay, there's GSX connecting. Yeah, so I figured I'd give GSX another chance. This is in Sim Update 2, so a stable build of 2024. I had last tried it with Sim Update 3 beta, and so I want to give it, again, its fair opportunity, since I did have a few crashes recently with the Sim Update 3. It is pretty cool. Surprise, surprise, yeah. What is going on here? That, like, tug is underground. Or it looked like it was underground. Maybe it's just the LOD not loading in.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
These guys are hauling ass, though. This is pretty dangerous. It is cool. This person's, like, floating. It is really cool just to see the airport come more to life with GSX. Now I have the passengers boarding on faster. You can see they're cutting their heads off here. So I have them boarding faster. The density is higher. I wish there was a density. This has always been my complaint with GSX, though, is the density with the luggage. The luggage which takes forever to load in. Okay, so let's get going things in the plane here, I suppose, huh? Okay, so we're going to go here to the flight bag. We're going to request our sim brief. We're going to click on that button there. We're going to go on down. Actually, we're going to go up top here. We're going to turn on the battery. That's important. We're going to go to ground power, which is on already. We're going to turn on the APU. And this is just my flow I like to do with this aircraft, so it by no means is this standard procedure. Alright, get those window heat going. I didn't even say where we're going to this. We're doing Baltimore, Washington to Windsor, Bradley Airport. So Bradley. Washington to Bradley. And this is again, real-world flight using BeyondATC, and this is also a pilot's life. No, not Sim Update 3. No. Like I said, I want to give GSX a fair chance with a stable version of Flight Sim. So I figured, why not do it live on stream? APU is coming on board there. Good. That there. What else do I need to do? Everything else is good up here. Let's go down below. And we're going to go to FMS, position, next, grab the GPS, drop it in here, go to route, request a route, sim brief it, load, and load. We're going to wait for the load button to pop up here. So, cannot leave the aircraft. Correct. Yes. I don't know what happens if you hit the button. I'm afraid to hit it. We'll try it on the ground when we land in Bradley. Remind me if I forget. Load it. Yeah, I think nothing will happen. I don't think you could even go outside the aircraft, which is fine for me because I don't honestly do the walk around very often. I'd rather just do the drone cam. But again, it might break some things like the 408 where you have, what's it called? There's no tablet inside it to turn off the chocks and, you know, that stuff. So it might break that. I know it does break the career mode. So if you use career mode, don't do that trick. Okay. And then position, or sorry, performance, we're going to request it. Yeah, so this is the big BeyondATC experimental update. I always like how everything they say is minor. It's a minor update. This is a pretty substantial thing. Okay, we're going to be cruising up to 370 today, so we're going to pop in that here. Whoop. That there, execute it, and let's go see what our performance takeoff is going to be. So performance tool, we're going to select our runway, which we're expecting runway 28 at the moment. Calculate, and we are going to do a takeoff 2 at 43. So takeoff 2, was that 43 or 48? 43, yeah. 43, drop that in there. Takeoff, flaps 5. And 5.47. Bring that down here. How you doing, by the way? Doing pretty good. Had a pretty easy day at work yesterday, so I can't complain about that. Departure. The dunk pin, I guess? Duke pin. Bras. Execute. Arrival 33 via DPK3 and DPK. Alright, so we have that all set in there. That is grand. We should now be on the APU, but we'll wait for that to disconnect until we get all the luggage on. This is a busy airport this morning. So I did lower the ground parking down to 3. I had it on 4, but I lowered it to 3. Should give me a little bit of a performance boost. Just the same as the minor inconvenience, yeah. Just a minor inconvenience, that's all. The hop today is 246 nautical miles, at least from a pilot's life standpoint. I'm not sure if the actual... I suppose I can look at our briefing. Is this saying here? I don't know if it says the distance. Raw? Is this on the ground distance? 308? There you go. 308 nautical miles. Okay, 67. So with BeyondATC, this is if you have the supporters back the course to get the experimental stuff. But there's a button here that says GSX integration. You have to check that first, and then, in theory, it should work. And we'll see what happens. This is my first time trying it, so it may completely fail on me. There's a high probability of massive failure. What else did I forget? I forgot something else in here, though. I gotta switch over to the APU. So ground's off. Yaw damper's on. Fuel pumps are gonna come on. And now we just gotta wait for actual pushback. I suppose we can get clearance while we're waiting here. Clearance is on 11805. 11805. So I tried this trick before with the PMDG, which, like I said, disables the walk around. But there's one thing I didn't read when I was doing it, which is you also have to clear out the stream packages, so it has to rebuild that in the system. And if it doesn't, the sim just doesn't load. And that's what happened to me the first time. So I was like, oh, this doesn't work. And then I went ahead and did the steps again, and this time followed all of them, and it actually did what it was supposed to do. Baltimore clearance, good morning from Southwest 3719. We are ready for IFR clearance to Bradley.
Southwest 3719, Baltimore clearance cleared to Bradley Airport. Duke Ben 1 departure with DeBross transition, then is filed. Climb via SID except maintain 1,000 feet. Departure frequency 128.7. Squawk 6130.
Clear to Bradley. Dupekin 1 transition. Departure with the Bros transition, then is filed. Climb via the SID except maintain 1,000. Departure on 128.7. Squawk 6130. Southwest 3719.
Southwest 3719, readback correct. Contact ground 121.9er when ready for push or start.
Ground 121.9er, Southwest 3719. Thank you. Alright, so we have that, and I think I saw that we're all set to go here, right? For pushback? What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. So I need to get my lights on my panel. I used the FM, I can't talk this morning. I used the
contact Baltimore
wind wing.
Tower 119.4, take care.
Why isn't that working?
Over to Tower 119.
Oh, my wind wing's not working. That's no good.
1359.
Un momento. Stop, start. Huh. Let me disconnect it real quick.
Southwest 438 at Gate Bravo 14. Request pushback and engine start.
Southwest 183, contact Baltimore Tower 119.4.
Over to Tower 119.4, Southwest 183.
I did this the other day too, where it just stopped working.
Southwest 438.
And the only way I think I got it
Baltimore
fixed
ground
was
pushback and engine start approved.
I had to restart my PC.
Pushback and engine start approved.
Actually, I might have to restart
Southwest 438.
Moby Flight. I'm gonna find the plug-in spot again. Because it's not connected. So let's restart Moby Flight first. And then we'll see what happens. If I don't have it, I don't have it. It would kind of suck, but... Alright, now I'm gonna launch up Moby. Moby Flight. Oh, not that one, I guess. Where's my Moby Flight installed? Oops, wrong button. Crap. Moby Flight. Alright, let me see if this fixes it. There's always technical issues when you're randomly going to stream. Are not connected. Please refer to this. The question is why? Why is it not connected? It's probably the same issue I had this morning with my mouse. Like, my mouse didn't work for some random reason. Had to, like, plug it in, plug it back, unplug it and plug it back in.
Southwest 1804, Gate Bravo 8. Request pushback.
Starting connecting. Or start
Southwest
connecting.
1804, Baltimore ground
Yeah.
pushback approved.
Alright, well,
Face
multi-flight's not gonna
southeast.
work. That's a bunch of crap. Alright,
Pushback
so we're gonna have to
engine
just
start
manually
approved.
put in
Face
stuff.
southeast. Southwest
I'm gonna
1804.
do, I know they said 1,000, but I'm gonna do 6,000.
Southwest 438, ready to taxi to the active.
Alright, and now, what do we do next? What do we gotta do next? GSX.
Southwest for 38, runway 2.
Do I just close doors now?
Tango, uniform 1.
Boarding completed. Prepare for pushback and departure.
28 via Tango, uniform 1, Southwest 438.
Release ground. Yes. Baltimore ground, Southwest 3719. Request pushback and engine start.
Southwest 3719, Baltimore ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face northeast.
Face northeast, Southwest 3719. Okay, we're getting pushed up. That's cool. Issue is my Moby flight just stopped working. Okay, just checking doors because I don't trust that doors are not closed. Okay, doors are closed. Cool, grand. And then, what happened there? What happened there? It just like disappeared. Did it crash? GSX. Prepare for pushback and departure.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Okay, let's go.
Southwest 1804, taxi for departure.
I don't understand what the GSX BeyondATC
Southwest 1804,
part
runway
is
28,
here.
Taxi via Tango, uniform 1.
Is it when I was requesting pushback
Taxi via
that it automatically sent it?
Uniform 1.
Oh, I bet you that's what it is. I probably didn't have to request it. I was probably able to just to say request pushback and engine start, and then GSX would start doing its thing. My guess, I don't know.
Southwest for
What throttle do you recommend? I have the Honeycomb Bravo, and I absolutely love it.
Tower 119.4, Southwest 438.
I've heard that the Thrustmaster Airbus side, not side stick, the throttle quadrant for that is decent too in the Boeing one. And then you can obviously go with like the high-end stuff. Kip uses, does he use VK? VK, was it VKB? I think he might. Moby Flight is a add-on that allows... Alright, we want to push the tail to the left. Tail left. Waiting for removing the chocks. Roger. Remove.
Release parking brakes,
Southwest
please.
809er, Gate Alpha 16. Request pushback and engine start.
All
Alright.
engines clear.
Engine's
Start at
clear.
will.
Start engine at number 2. AP
Southwest
bleed.
809,
Good.
Baltimore ground, pushback and engine
We're going.
start approved. Face southwest.
That's gonna suck not having my Moby Flight.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face
Alright, I like to
southwest.
just do 210. I know you're supposed to put in like your minimums, but I like to just do 210 for the speed. Break all kinds of rules. Alright, now we're going to watch the engine rotation. We're already up at 20. Perfect. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you are going to use the PMDG 737 with BeyondATC, you won't get Terra to work, or not Terra, TCAS to work properly, because if you do enable it to standby mode and on, then it thinks that your plane is another plane. So you're going to see a red warning here the entire flight. So that is the one thing you cannot do with this plane. Yeah, that's it. Waiting for ATC and then triggering GSX. Okay, okay. So make the call with BeyondATC.
Southwest 1804, contact Baltimore Tower 119.4. Contact Tower 119.4.
Getting some
Southwest 1804.
really bad frame rates all of a sudden.
Please set
Let me see if I
parking
clear it
brake.
out. Parking brake.
Unlock Unlocking gear.
Unlocking gear. Wow, what is going on? Performance, holy crap. Just tanked all of a sudden. Alright. Engine number 1. See if it comes back. There's definitely no way I can fly like this.
Southwest 809er, request taxi to the active.
Southwest 809er, runway 28 taxi via Tango 1, Tango uniform 1.
This is also the Boris
Via Tango 1, Tango, uniform
sound
1,
pack.
Southwest 809er.
What are the updates for BeyondATC? So they added the GSX integration, added in some more airport detailed information,
Left is clear. Right is clear.
and then they smoothed out the planes so they're not like choppy as much. I think those are the big ones they did. Okay, is my performance back yet? It's better, substantially better. Baltimore ground, Southwest 3719, ready to taxi to the active. Experimental only, yes, King Bob. Yep.
Southwest 3719, runway 28 taxi via Alpha Tango uniform 1.
Runway 28 via Alpha Tango uniform 1, Southwest 3719. Alright, so that would be this taxiway here, around, and then, okay, cool.
Alpha 7 taxi via Papa
So
Tango.
up here, we are going to go to
Alpha
Gen.
7 via Papa,
APU
Tango,
is
Southwest
off.
3209.
APU is off here. Go to standard, or go to both there. Go to condition, or sorry, continuous here. Taxi lights are on. APU bleed off, and packs are on. Okay,
FlexJet 449.
Let's make the call.
Baltimore ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face southeast.
bring up the throttles. Parking brake is released. I forget that, like, for some reason in this plane I have to do the parking brake twice. Didn't pay for the experimental? Yeah. I bought the standard way back when they were doing the experimental for taxiing. I mean, not taxiing, traffic.
Southwest 1531.
Okay,
Baltimore
Alpha
ground, pushback approved. Face southwest.
uniform is coming up next. Tango uniform.
Pushback approved. Face southwest. Southwest 1531.
Alright, we're on Tango, and then here's uniform. And we have another Southwest. Are they going to try killing us? Did they fix this? Oh boy, they're going real fast. Oh boy, I don't like this at all. Oh, they're slowing down. Maybe. I'm going. Oh, they stopped. Cool, cool. Like it, love seeing that. Alright, now we're on uniform. I'm going to take this all the way down to uniform 1. Okay, so now I'm really curious about a couple things. So I'm curious about the GSX thing. For sure, like, is, like Will said, am I supposed to, like, wait until make my pushback call, and then it will connect? Because that interrupting came up. So I'm guessing I clicked and then I wasn't supposed to click on it.
FlexJet 449, ready to taxi to the active.
So I think I was supposed to say no to interruption. I guess.
FlexJet 449, runway 33 right, taxi via Quebec.
Now on the ground it should
Runway 33
spawn,
right taxi via
GSX
Quebec.
should spawn
FlexJet
where
449.
our, it should spawn the pushback tug, I believe, where, and the dudes, where we're going to be taxiing in, which might make it easier to find our jetway. Over to tower 119.4, Southwest 3719. Alright, let's go. Auto throttle armed. Baltimore Tower, Southwest 3719, ready to go runway 28. Alright, we're gonna go auto on responds on this. After this.
Southwest 3719, Baltimore Tower. Wind 290 at 14, gusts 19er. Fly heading 200. Runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28, clear for takeoff. Southwest 3719. I don't know why I want to say JetBlue. I want to keep saying JetBlue. I have not flown for JetBlue in ages, but I want to keep saying JetBlue. Alright, throttle coming on up. It's really surprising how stable this plane is in 2024. It really is. Like, I don't think I've ever had a crash. It's either it works right away or it doesn't. That's it. Alright, so on departure, we're going to swing over to the left. There's a plane holding, I'm guessing for us. Alright, bringing those throttles up, stabilizing, toga set checked. And let's go. Now we got the initial 1,000, but again, I'm going to climb up.
Short of 28, Southwest 809er.
Checked.
Runway 28, line up and wait.
Got 19 headwind.
Runway 28, line up and wait. Southwest 809er.
Rotating. Pulling back just easy on the stick.
49, holding short, runway 33 right.
Gear going up.
Flexjet 449.
Alright, at 400
Wind 290 at 14,
above ground, we'll go ahead and swing over to the left.
180, runway 33 right, cleared for takeoff.
Alright, first notch of flaps are coming up. Over to the left now.
Runway 33 right.
Clear heading select.
FlexJet 449.
And VNAV is selected.
Southwest 3719. Contact Potomac departure. Take care.
Potomac departure. Over to departure, Southwest 3719. I forgot to turn on auto response.
Potomac departure.
Potomac
Southwest
departure.
3719.
Flaps up.
1,600 feet.
Spirit Wings 3830, turn left, heading 360, vectors for the approach.
I forgot to turn on RTO
Heading 360.
on that departure. And full flaps up.
Southwest 3719, Potomac departure.
Alright, we're
radar
clear
contact,
direct.
Clear direct Arwin, resume the Doug Pen 1, climb maintain flight level 180.
180.
Clear direct Arwin. Resume the duck pen 1. Climb maintain flight level 180 Southwest 3719.
Alright, we're clear direct to Arwin, I guess. So execute. And LNAV. And we're still hand flying this aircraft. Baltimore looks really nice down there. Really, really nice.
Potomac departure, FlexJet 449. Good day, 600.
Looking pretty good. Alright, coming up to 5,000. So at about 10,000, we'll go ahead and turn on the autopilot for this departure.
2,600 feet. Spirit Wings 3830.
Flagship 449, Potomac departure, good day, radar contact.
That was a weird
Clear
speed
direct Suggs.
sound.
Resume the fix at 5, climb and maintain flight level 190.
So one thing I am noticing though is there's this weird delay here with the
Resume the fix at 5.
screen. I don't know if you can see that when we're turning.
Level 190, FlexJet 449.
So I'm guessing that's one of the issues that PMDG has to work on. Or they probably have worked on for the 737. Although they say they are building it from scratch. Or not scratch, but, you know, making the improvements from the 777 over to the 737.
809er, Potomac departure, radar contact, cleared direct Suggs. Resume the Conley 5, climb maintain 17,000.
Alright, almost up to 10,000.
Direct Suggs. Resume the Conley 5. Climb maintain 17,000. Southwest
Bringing down that nose just a little bit. And now we're getting ready to intercept the LNAV. Alright, LNAV intercepted, and autopilot is engaged. You had 16,000. Yeah, I had the 16,000 because I know they were going to increase us pretty quickly. So I just put in 16.
Cleared visual approach 33 left.
Alright, 10,000. Landing lights, taxi lights coming off. And let's bring out the map a little bit. Pretty stable departure. Oh. Some stutters today. the power plant or something down there. My guess. It's a nice looking plane. Does the pilot say cabin crew prepare for takeoff nest before entering the runway in the U.S.? Does the pilot say cabin crew prepare for takeoff
Spirit Wings 3830, contact
before entering the runway in the U.S.?
Contact tower 119.4.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure they do. I was just on a flight, so I want to say yes.
76, turn left, heading 360, descend and maintain 5.
They also, yeah, they'll say the same thing for like on the arrival. I know for sure on the arrival. I'm pretty sure for departure too, though. Cabin crew for seats for departure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. PMDG is behind with the 737 now, half a year. Oh yeah. I'm fairly confident to say that we're going to see the iFly way before we see the 737 from PMDG in 2024. It's interesting, like I understand from their point of view that they wanted to put in all their resources into the 777 because it was a new plane for people to buy. And I feel that if you have been in flight sim for a while, you probably either have bought the PMDG 737, whatever variant you want, or you just have no interest in the plane itself. You're kind of in that area. So the money probably isn't there versus where all the money was going to be with the freighter version of that 777. And we're going to climb all the way up to 37. I really miss my Moby flight right now.
Contact Washington Center 123.85, Southwest 821. Have a good day.
Alright, 37, and I don't know if it got my change. No, we're signed to level off. Okay, so we're going to go over here, and we're going to go to intervene. That should bring us up with thrust, and then start our climb again. Yep, there we go. Beautiful. The safety belts lights also be off 5 minutes after takeoff when passing 10,000. Yeah, I think it's once you get up to 10,000, at least in the US as well, that they'll turn off the lights, I mean the seatbelt stuff. Here in this plane you can do auto. Well, you can do auto for the seatbelts. So I don't know if anyone in the stream has watched, there's a show on HBO, on Max, that's called The Rehearsal. And I had a coworker tell me about it. Season 2 is about the stigma with pilots between the captain and the co-pilot, where there have been a number of documented flights that the co-pilot didn't intervene on the flight because they didn't want to. They didn't think that the captain would listen to them, or they were afraid that if they were wrong, that they would be, he's doing something wrong. And then some flights have crashed because of that. Well, that's kind of what the whole season 2 was about. And the host and director and all that jazz, Nathan Fielder, he ended up getting his PPL and becoming an airline pilot, and he actually flew a 737 IRL. And he does it now he does like cargo. I don't know if it's cargo or if he just transports planes, but he does one of the two things or both. And I thought that was really cool. Someone who didn't have any really interest in aviation ended up getting his PPL and becoming a 737 pilot. Which kind of inspired me to get back into flying the 737. Also that I'm with Southwest in the pilot's life kind of helped. 18 in the US, 10,000 in Europe. That's for standard pressure though, right? In the US? Is that just standard pressure? Or is that the safety lights? Like the seat belts? I felt like not too long ago when I did my flights, like they were both pretty early with the seat belts. Or maybe it was 10,000 you can turn on your electronics. 18 is when they do the seat belts. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. 10,000, they'll start
Center,
preparing
Southwest
for like
3719, through flight level 244 for flight
drinks
level
and snacks, whatever it be.
370.
Southwest 3719 Washington Center.
All right, we're expecting runway 33. 18 is standard pressure. Okay. Does this plane have charts? Are they broken? Yeah, it does have. Okay. Does it pull it? Cool. It does pull it. All right. So arrive. Well, I guess we can look at the departure real quick. Departure, standard departure. We did this one here. So here we are on the departure. All looking grand there. For the arrival, we are expecting the DPK-3. So Deer Park 3 arrival. Airport, let's get the charge for that. And then we need airport information, runway 33. All right, let's start our briefing for that. Let's go to pinned. On approach here. It's going to be an interesting approach. I don't fly in the Bradley very often. So here's the DPK. And I'm guessing we're going this direction.
Contact Washington Center 125.45.
I'm guessing. Airport information runway 33, ILS interception at 2500, and then glide slope 18. Okay. And then our airport information runway 33. Here we are. We're going to exit to the left and then taxi to one of the gates. We're going to see if GSX and BeyondATC does, if it actually does bring in like the airport walker dudes, airplane walkers, I guess they're called, at our assigned gate. So we're going to use that as our visual cue to know where we're going to park at.
125.45, Southwest 3719.
I heard that some examiners in the simulator will intentionally make small mistakes and test if a co-pilot dares to challenge. Oh, interesting. That would be interesting to know. Like that show is really interesting. I really highly recommend it. The rehearsal on Max, because it really does make you think a lot. And even like for myself, it made me question a lot of my life and how I haven't really shown a lot of emotions in my life, and I'm very neutral. And that's kind of what the show was a lot about, was that IRL pilots, they don't show a lot of emotions or talk a lot because they're so nervous about losing their medical if they say something wrong. You know, if they say like, oh, I'm feeling depressed, or oh, I am, I went out to drink the other night, or I met this new person, and they're so worried about those emotions getting back to the airline. And I don't know how true that is. I don't know, like in the workplace. In the US, at least, in most states, it's still illegal to use like marijuana, right? Some states, for example, Illinois, it is allowed. It's legal. Obviously, workplace requirements are a little different. Like you can't be smoking on the job and that kind of jazz. No different than drinking on the job. But like on your day off, feel free to smoke up as long as you come to work and you're not having any effects. All is fine. Well, if I were to go tell my boss I started smoking marijuana yesterday, would they look at me differently? You know what I mean? Would they start questioning if I trip over something? Well, it's because of that. Or if I start talking more, if I start laughing more, or something, whatever it be, would they start looking at signs and thinking, well, it's because of the influence of this is what's going on. It's rather interesting to think about. Hurricane season has officially started. Oh boy, good luck. I'm hearing some terrible news that here in the U.S. at least, that the current administration is cutting back on FEMA, which is a resource used for natural disasters like hurricanes here in the U.S. And some of those states along the coast might not get the funds they need to help with those disasters, which is just, it's awful. It's just so awful to hear that. So hopefully other states that have the resources can help them, That's all we can hope for at this point. Coworker asked me yesterday, he said, where if here in the U.S. at least, where would I want to move to? What state would I want to move to? And it was an interesting question because my wife and I moved to where we want to move to, which is where we are now, 5 years ago. And I was thinking about it, like where if I didn't want to be here in Illinois anymore, where would I want to move to? And honestly, the only place I could think of was like Washington, the state of Washington. I don't mind the rain. I don't mind the gloomy weather. I actually prefer it. It means it's not gonna be as hot. My only condition there would be you're more involved with like some of the tropical storm stuff.
Climbing flight level 344 for flight level 370 direct Hulk.
I am fired with those things. And then if you could move to any country, where would you want to move to? And that one was a tough one because like I always talked a lot, I have a lot of interest in New Zealand. I'd like to visit New Zealand first and then, you know, from there make a decision. But I also like to visit Spain. And I think ultimately it will come down to two major things. It would come down to the healthcare system and then it come down to the economy. You know, those would be two major factors if I were to move, if I were to have enough money to move and willpower to move to a different country. You know, it'd come down to the economy and the healthcare. Because those are two areas that I'm mostly concerned with here in the US. Florida it is. Irishman lives in Florida. And I lived in Florida for about a year. And that's about the most I'll ever live in Florida. I don't mind visiting for a couple days. But I can't go back there. I can't move back there again. It's just, it's weird to say this because I live in a suburb outside of Chicago. And, you know, so we're packed here. But we're also not. And I feel like in Florida, at least where I was, obviously I was in a tourist hotspot. I was in Kissimmee. And that's a super big, you know, we got Disney World there and Universal's not too far away, SeaWorld, all the parks are there, right? But they're just, the amount of people everywhere, I just felt like I was always around a group of people at any given time of the day. And the pay was crap. I hated the weather. It was always just so hot, so humid. Bugs, just nasty, huge, disgusting bugs every which direction. Yeah, if I had to do it again, I would, because I learned a lot from the job I worked at. It taught me a lot of the basic fundamentals of working hard to earn your paycheck. So I'd do it again. There'd be some things I would have changed, but I would definitely do it again. But no more than that year. I was definitely the caps with that. Definitely the cap. Okay, so we're getting close to JFK. We're not too far away from JFK. I don't know if anyone here has ever played the Division 1 and 2, but the Division 2 just had another DLC, which is crazy to think because it's been out for a while now, a long while. And so it just had a new DLC that came out, something Battle of Brooklyn or something like that. And so I haven't tried the Division yet on my PC since I got this OLED monitor a few months back. And so I tried HDR for the very first time with it, and oh my gosh, I was blown away. How realistic, how impressive it looks with HDR. Like, the Divisions always look really good. For an open world game based in a real world city, it's always looked good, but like it took it to a whole new level of realism. It was so cool. I haven't played the Battle of Brooklyn yet. I was just kind of testing out the game. And I'm interested in playing it, but I'm also turned off because what I'm reading in all the reviews and user comments is that the final boss battle is like super hard, and I'm not big into those Soul-like games, you know, those challenging big boss battles. That's not for me. And there's no difficulty setting, I don't think, for the Division, and I don't know if my character's really up to the task to take out this dude alone. So we'll see. China got those. What's China have? The big bulls? Or big bugs? Or people everywhere? It's probably people everywhere, right? You run your movies in HDR? I don't know if I've tested out HDR movies yet. I have to figure out what supports it and what doesn't, because Windows is really weird. Windows is really weird. Like I found a way to get Chrome to do HDR. But I have to do some more testing with it. Then I would say somewhere southwest Germany, Netherlands would be suitable. Good economy, depressing weather. Those are what I'm looking for. Good economy and depressing weather. I like rain. I really do. I don't mind rain. I don't want like downpours consistently. Give me some sprinkles every day. I'd be fine with that. I'd be super fine with that. I don't go outside enough to care about it. I don't really go and I don't run and play sports outside. I don't want the snow. That's one thing I've hated. I've lived in the snow long enough. So here in the, you know, the Midwest, the lower Midwest, I'm happy with where I am. With that, we get some snow, but not a lot of it. The Netherlands, I never really thought about. But it looked nice. I've done a couple flights in the sim to the Netherlands. It's always been fun. I would like to visit there, though. I would definitely love to visit there. Our top of descent's coming on up, so we're gonna put in what? So Deer Park arrival, Deer Park 3 arrival. Looks like 11,000. So we'll bring this down to 11. Because in the 737, it will automatically start its descent at top of descent there. Okay, got that set, and then runway 33, so it's going to be a turn to the left. So we'll hit this waypoint here, and then it will probably vector us back out, or it will vector us to like 060, or what would it be? Probably 070. We usually have 4 seasons, but now it's 2. China is actually not that crowded. I would say similar to European nations. Oh, really? Is it just like Belgium kind of thing? Not Belgium. Oh shoot, what's the word? Not Belgium. It starts with a B though. Why can't I think of it? I can't even say it now. You know what I'm thinking of probably. Kind of like the U.S. You got the big metro areas, L.A. where Kip is, New York, Orlando. I don't know if Miami's would be considered. I'm sure it's super populated, but compared to like JFK or LAX, I don't even know if we can consider. I wonder what the size difference would be between the population the density of population would be between JFK and Chicago and LAX. I'm curious. Let's see, population density between Chicago,
Southwest 3719, New York
New
Center,
York.
expect Deer Park 3, runway 24 south.
Runway 24. They changed our runway.
Expect Deer Park 3, runway 24, Southwest 3719.
Alright, so New York has the population density of around 26 per square mile. Chicago is 11 and LA is 84.
Center
Oh,
on
wow.
12125, Southwest 3719.
That's crazy. New York City has the highest population density, followed by Chicago, then LA. I thought LA would be much higher. So New York City has a population density of 26,000 people per square mile. Chicago's 11,000 per square mile, and LA is 8,000 per square mile. New York is what, 3 times more dense than LA, and over double that of Chicago. Wow. All right, runway 24, so runway change. Let's get that introduced into our system. So SimBrief's telling me it's not used, which happens. Runway 24 ILS. All right, let's do a runway change down here as well. Arrival, runway 24, and that's all going to be the same. Okay, so 24, we're going to end up going... I wonder what they're going to do here. This will be interesting to see what BeyondATC does. Okay, so then radios 11 and 1. I had the same radio frequency the other day. I swear to gosh. Okay, 11 and 1, minimums 370.
Cleared via Deer Park 3. Pilot's discretion descend and maintain flight level 290. Bradley landing runway 24. Altimeter 2964.
After Deer Park, cleared via Deer Park 3. Pilot's discretion descend and maintain flight level 290.
Okay, so they're saying we can start a descent after Deer Park. I'll just let it do its thing, because it won't be much. It'll be minimum. Okay, so we have our information in there. Let's go over here to the computer again, though, because we have to change our arrival. So approach, we're going to unpin that one. And approach, runway... No. Search, here we go. Okay, approach. Runway 24. Pinned. Alright, so looking at the airport chart now. So we're coming in this way now, which is maybe even better, because we'll be able to exit probably Charlie 2 and then taxi into the gates versus 3-3 and then backtrack. Okay, so that's not bad. The approach runway 24 though, let's take a look at this. And 3,000 for our arrival. Okay, so that's not too bad either. Looking at our star for the arrival. We're now showing up on there, and we're going direct to Deer Park, which is right here, and I heard our engine slow down, so we are on approach.
Southwest 3719. Contact Boston Center 132.3. Have a good day.
What does crime rates look like? Ooh, that'd be interesting. When we finally retire, heading out of New Jersey State, while I like it unaffordable for retirees. Where do you think about moving to, Bob? Thinking moving like Midwest, or doing the snowbirds thing, going down south, or going all the way to West Coast? Yeah, crime wave would be interesting. Let's see, crime rate, Chicago versus New York versus Los Angeles. In terms of crime rate, Chicago has the higher total crime rates than both New York and Los Angeles. So let's see. While Chicago has a lower violent crime rate than many other major cities, it still has a concentrated violent. So in 21, 5 of Chicago's most violent police districts, down for 42% of cities' homicides. New York City has a relatively lower violent crime rate compared to Chicago and Los Angeles. However, Chicago and New York also experience concentrated violent crimes in certain areas. Los Angeles has a higher violent crime rate than New York, but lower than Chicago. Interesting. New York is relatively safe compared to 25 smaller cities. So crime index for Chicago is 66, LA's 53, and New York didn't show up on this chart. Interesting. So Chicago's per capita murder rate is higher than New York and LA, but lower than other Midwest cities such as Detroit. So Detroit has a higher murder rate per capita. Houston's at 14. Chicago's at 22. That's crazy. So Chicago's dangerous. Thankfully, I don't live in Chicago.
Southwest 3719, contact Boston Center 124.525. Have a good day.
Have family who moved to South Carolina the last 5 years. They love it down there compared to New Jersey, so most logical for us. Okay, yeah. We thought about it. I think I want to say South Carolina was on our list.
Via Deer Park 3, flight level 273.
All right, weather here in
Southwest 3719 Boston
Connecticut
Center, copy.
is broken at 4,500, broken at 6,500, and 10-mile visibility. So shouldn't be too bad coming in. Winds are about the same, gusting at 19 knots. So the winds are pretty much the same. Yeah, they're almost the exact same. Baltimore was 290 at 14, and Bradley is 290 at 12. So it's pretty much the same. Clouds are a little bit. Clouds are more broken here in Bradley, but they are a little higher. Welcome in, Eric. Just tuned in. Fascinating conversation. This is what we do, random talking in the skies. Talking about crime rates in population of cities we're not even flying in today. Oh man, hilarious stuff. Well, so the 727, the subscription-based 727 finally launched the other day, and it seems like it's kind of all over the place. People are saying for $5 to try it out. It's not bad. It has some opportunities and some work to be done. If it was in 2024, I definitely would try it. So I'll eventually try it when it comes to 2024 for $5. I'm not buying it for $150 or subscribing for a year, no way. But I'm certainly willing to give it a shot for $5. It's not, price of a cheeseburger. I saw a chart last week where they compared U.S. with European crime rate. Wise, that's not fair. Kip has defended LA all the time. I think LA. My thing about LA. Here's my issue with LA. I think the crime rate's probably fine, and I think it's been improved a lot, obviously, since the Rodney King stuff way back in the 80s, right? I think their police form has been, reformed quite a bit, and I think a lot of the stuff we remember. I don't know if any of you saw Beverly Hill Cop. That old TV show with Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy.
Southwest 3719.
I don't think LA's as bad as people think it is. I think LA's persona is just from the movies from the days, back in the days. And I think it's been substantially changed. My issue with LA, though, is one, it's just too hot for me. Two, it's too close to the ocean. That was my issue with Florida, too. I was there during hurricane season, but we never had a hurricane happen while I was there. It actually happened the year after I was there and the year before I was there, but never the year I was there in Orlando, at least. And I know Orlando's more centralized, Florida, but they still get the effects of it. Okay, so I think we're high at this point, aren't we? Yeah, we're supposed to be 11 at this point, so we're definitely high on the approach. We'll let the plane do its thing. I think I would love to visit LA, but I don't think I could ever live there. But I think it's the same, though, for people who've are in LA, who've born and raised in LA. I don't think they'd have any interest in ever moving to, let's say, Minneapolis, where the winter is brutal, right? Compared to, your body just gets used to a certain climate. My cousin, for example, lived and grew up grew up and lived in Chicago, moved down to Orlando, and became accustomed to the weather of Florida. And then when he moved back up here to Chicago area, he's had a difficulty transitioning to the cooler temperatures. So I think it's really just your mind, your body getting used to all that kind of jazz. And that's like my thing. If it wasn't for the people being everywhere, I probably would have gotten used to the heat of Florida over time. Would have taken a long time because I've been such accustomed to cooler temperatures. And I think I found like the happy medium here in the Illinois, where you get a nice mild winter for the most part. You know, you'll have a couple days where it's very cold, a couple, you know, minus 10 degrees or so, but it's not like that for weeks on end. It's just for a couple days, maybe even just a day. I think this last winter was like 2 days where it was that cold. I don't even know if it got below zero, honestly. I don't remember.
Southwest 3719, lead Briss heading 050. Expect
050.
approach runway 24.
Leave Briss heading 050. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway 24, Southwest 3719.
Alright, 050 is in there. We are definitely high on the approach. So 11,000 is what the initial altitude restriction was. But there's no way we would have made that approach happen. Looking at the chart here, they said we can start our descent here. Well, we were at 37, and from here to here, we were supposed to drop like 20-something thousand feet. How far is that? Not maybe 40,000 or 40 nautical miles? Yeah, I think this descent was a little long. Yeah, it should have worked. I don't know what the plane was doing then. Okay, so at Briss we're going to be going 050, so pretty close to what I was saying, because I was saying 070, but they also changed the runway on us. We're going to keep the 11,000 in there unless they say elsewise.
Southwest 3719, turn right heading 345, vectors for the approach.
Alright, 345 now. That's weird.
Turn right, heading 345, Southwest 3719.
Alright, heading mode 345.
Southwest 3719, contact Bradley approach 123.905.
Contact Bradley approach, Southwest 3719. Have a good one.
Alright, 3,000 on the approach again.
Bradley approach, Southwest 3719. Good day, 1,600 feet.
Let's see what they're going to do here. Are they going to switch us over to 070 or something?
Southwest 3719, Bradley approach.
Or they're going to have us come in right downwind. Or left downwind, I guess it'd be.
Altimeter 296 for expect the visual approach runway 24, Southwest 3719.
I think the coastal cities in the north, like 401N.
Turn right, heading 055.
055.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Altimeter 2964.
5,000.
Further clearance in about 38 miles.
Turn right, heading 055. Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Altimeter 296.
Alright, speed restrictions, none. So we're going to go 250 for now. Actually, let's go down to 230. We're pretty close to the airport. Alright, we're going to drop down at 2,000. Let's get landing lights on. Good. Okay. Speed brake. Let's go ahead and bring those out so we can get our speed to drop down a bit. I think the coastal cities in the northern would be quick, good climate, not so cold. Cities inland will be much more brutal during winter. Yeah, for sure. Quick question: did the PMDG 737 get dropped or using the slew mode? So I'm using the. There's a trick. What am I doing? 115. There's a trick if you edit a file. You have to edit a file, the content.xml file, and disable the avatars So it disables the walk around mode. That's the method I'm using. And allows me to then spawn at the gate. And I'm in my custom. Actually, I think I'm in the. Yeah, I'm in a custom mode for my startup. So I have the APU connected and jetway set up in the computer system, that kind of jazz. So yeah, it did not drop. It is not official. This is not the official
Southwest
drop.
3719, turn left, heading 055.
055.
Turn left, heading 055, Southwest 3719.
Alright, so just kind of getting us tighter to the airport. Alright. Although I am seeing there still is an issue. We are getting icing here, and I do have icing on, right? Let's turn on engine icing. But I do have probe heats on, or window heat on, sorry. And we are getting icing still. So that is still broken in this plane with Sim Update 2. Obviously, again, it's not fully supported. TCAS is still broken. And no, it's for every aircraft. It disables the walk around for every aircraft. So if you do use like career mode, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd recommend just doing the slew at the gate still. I mean, a slew on the runway and then a slew to the gate. So it disables walk around the other craft. Yes, we'll test it real quick though, Barry. We'll test it quick. I want to see if it does break the 408. I don't fly it very often. I just did a few days back, but I want to see if it does break that. But yeah, the other thing is if you are going to fly this aircraft, you should probably disable icing, because like it's fixed now because it's, you know, summertime here in the U.S. But I started seeing the icing build up on there, and de-icing does not seem to work in this aircraft. All right, so we're at 5,000. Let's stow the speed brakes, arm the speed brakes. And how are we looking on this approach here? Oh, what happened? I hit the wrong button. Alright, here we are. So we're going to come on out here, and then we want to be at 3,000 here at Kibby, I think, right? Yeah, 3,000 at Kibby. So we got 2,000 feet to drop yet. We're in dark mode. Does that work? Cool. Oh, no. It works. Oh, okay, there we go. Well, yeah, it works until you move it, and then it breaks it. Again, then we're landing runway 24. We're going to plan to exit Charlie 2, and then taxi to the gate via Charlie. Or what it would be via Charlie, they might give us Charlie Delta Sierra? Probably. I think we need to vector over a little bit more because we're getting closer and closer to the airport. The ILS, sorry. I'm going to turn us over just a little bit so we're not too close to the ILS there. It might have vectored us over, but I really want to fly it, but for some reason with Sim Update 2 I get random crashes, but literally only recently, not at the beginning of Sim Update 2. Don't know why. Interesting. I was having the random crashes with Sim Update 3 beta. So I'm back here on the stable Sim Update 2, and I have not had a crash since. Have you cleared out like the stream packages and cache and all that jazz? See if that helps. Alright, so I don't know if we can see our airport. Kind of just barely. It's right there. And the sim can look just amazing. Even like a gloomy day like this, it can look really good. I got some cloud breaking here so we can see a little bit of the ground. It was sad news to hear that that P42 is not bringing SimFX to 2024, at least anytime soon or ever, due to some coding changes on Microsoft's end. because I really love that. And like, I know people want to blame them and say like, I paid money and whatever, and you know, you certainly can, but at the same time, they never said they were going to support 2024 when SimFX came out, right? To be fair. Oh, I forgot to do altimeter. Like, they never said they were going to support 2024 with the release of SimFX. It said after the fact that, you know, they would try to support it.
Southwest 3719, turn right, heading 180, intercept the 24 localizer, descend maintain 3200.
Let's go down.
Turn
Let's start at
right,
900.
heading 180, intercept
180.
the 24 localizer, descend maintain 3200, southwest 3719.
All right, 180, and then we're gonna go to localizer. And did I put the minimums for this new air or runway? 370, 370, yes. Okay. Yeah, I did clear those, and all of a sudden it happened again. I thought I might have crashed because I was in a new place. I haven't been before. My internet. That's interesting. I don't know. 2024 has been super stable for me. I'd almost argue that it's been more stable than 2020, like overall. Knock on wood, GSX has been pretty stable. I think crash has something to do with some update beta 3. Yeah, that's what definitely what seemed to be my issue.
Southwest 3719, airport is at your 2 o'clock, 15 miles. Report the field in sight.
Making a turn now. I'm pretty sure I saw the field beforehand, but we'll see if we see it now. Yeah, I thought that was a little tight of a turn. We have the field in sight, Southwest 3719. Alright, first notch of flaps are coming out. Gonna try to clear them again and then pop in after the stream. Alright, clear for the approach.
Visual approach 24, southwest 3719.
Let's bring that speed down. Let's go 180. Flaps down 5. What's our V speeds today? Clear out that stuff. Go to menu, FMC in it. 129, 133. So 133 plus 5, 138. Right? Right. 138 on the arrival. Flaps 5.
Southwest 3719, contact Bradley Tower 1.
Alright, we have the airport in sight right here. So again, exit to the left, terminal's right there. And then we're going to go off of, if we see the airplane walker dudes on the ground, we're assuming that's going to be our jetway.
Bradley Tower,
2500.
Alright, gear coming down. Clear to land.
Runway 24 cleared to land.
138 on the speed.
3719.
Got a little bit of crosswind right now coming from the right of us, 22 knots. 290 was the direction, so it looks like we're going to have crosswind on the arrival. Flaps come down to 15. Six nautical miles out. All right, I'm gonna guess I'm gonna guess a minus 210 on this landing. That's gonna be my guess. I'm not as comfortable as I was with the 737, so I'm gonna go a little high. $25 and $30 on flaps. All right, flaps are set and checked. You can see we are at a somewhat of a crab coming into the airport. I am going to give it a little bit more speed. I'm going to go 145. I feel like we're fighting that wind a bit. Alright, and let's go ahead and disengage autopilot here in a couple seconds. Let the plane kind of stabilize. Alright. AP off my aircraft. So we're gonna keep an eye right now on the glide slope and keep an eye on our ILS approach. And then, but we're also focusing mostly on visual, since we do have a visual arrival. And now this is not a fly-by-wire aircraft, so you will have to give it trim.
1,000.
We are fighting that wind. That's the fun thing about flying the Boeing planes is, well, at least the 737s, is that you do have to fight. You have to fight the yoke or the side stick, wherever you're going to fly with, a lot more than you do with the Airbus planes. I'm also going to try today, I'm going to try out the 727 in 2024. It's been a while since I've flown the 727. I'm not going to do it on stream today, but I'm going to try it off stream. Kind of see. It's been a minute. Alright, little high on the approach based on our ILS glide slope. But I feel pretty good where we are. Okay, fighting that wind, trying to keep center line the best I can.
300. Approaching minimums.
Now I feel like I'm a little high.
200. Minimums.
Little off center line.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Alright, flaring back. Let it settle down. Touchdown. Reversers are out. I'd say that was a pretty successful landing, pretty close to center. And reversers are stowed, 80 knots. A little bit of brake, flaps coming up. And Charlie 2 should be on the left of us up here. I think we just passed Charlie 2. Nope, Charlie 2's right here.
3719, exit left at Victor.
Victor.
Exit left at Victor, Southwest 3719.
Alright, and the landing lights are off. Where's Victor? Is this Victor? This is Charlie 2. I'm not sure where Victor is, but we'll just
Southwest 3719,
we'll take Charlie here.
21.9er, see you.
Alright, let's go up here and get the APU fired up, turn these to off. Let's go up here to turn off the packs. Turn off our engine icing. Whoa. Bradley Ground, good morning from Southwest 3719. We're looking to taxi to gate Alpha 4. We're currently on Charlie.
Southwest 3719, welcome to Bradley Airport, gate Alpha 4 taxi via Charlie Sierra.
Oh, auto comms on. Or auto response on.
Southwest 3719.
Alright, so Charlie, or sorry, Alpha 4. Okay, so let's see if we can visually see it. Visually see Alpha 4. So we got Bravos here. Is it right? What I'm looking for is the tug, or dudes. It looks like I'm seeing a bunch of stuff around here, so I'm not sure if that's part of the terminal, the scenery, or if that is our gate. Could be our gate. I don't see anyone there, though. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of go around a little bit and see if we can find it. No, it's over there. Well, it can't be it because there's a plane there. I don't see anyone here. That's 30, so 4 must be around the corner either way. So somewhere around here. What's that say? 10 or something? Alright, so 4 is gonna be back over here. $12, 11, 10, 9. Where the hell's 4 at? I don't see anyone anywhere, so it's not spawning anything at the gate, it looks like. 9, 7... 4 I think's on the other side. Let's stop here. Let's bring up the drone cam. Let's see if it brought in anything. Oh yeah, 3's over here. Yeah, so 4's probably like right over here. Yeah, there's 4. And it didn't spawn anything there. At least from what I can tell, it didn't spawn anything. It looks like it's all default stuff. Unless this is part of GSX. No, because it's here too. Yeah, so there's our gate, but it didn't spawn anything. Alright, so that's fine. We'll just go to... Where are we closest to? 7? We'll go to 7. Alright, landing lights are off, and taxi lights are off as well. APU is up and running. So it didn't spawn the air marshals, which I thought it was going to. Maybe it's because I'm at the wrong gate. So I'm not sure if GSX integration was working right or not.
You need to stop the engines to request ground services.
Oh, we need to stop. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we need to go on down here. And we need to go to menu, FS actions, ground, chocks, request to ground, jetway, and then engines are going to come off. Yeah, kind of sort of working in 2024. There's a trick to make it work. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it did anything. Prepare for pushback and departure. Deboarding.
The boarding requested.
Sure. Yeah, it didn't spawn all the things like I thought I was going to. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's close out BeyondATC, so the planes are all going to disappear. Let's see what our landing rate was, and then we'll check to see if I can do the walk-around mode or not. Because from my understanding, it seems to be all broken. Thanks for coming in, Will. Landing rate was...
There are no passenger stairs. You will not see passengers visually.
minus 158. That's not bad. Pretty darn good. Open the left entry. That's fine. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so the GSX integration, I think, still hit and miss. I'm not fully convinced I'll use it. All right, trot. Yeah, walk around mode does not work. I'm trying to hit my button to get out, and it doesn't work. So it completely disables walk around mode. Okay, but we want to test really quick. We're not going to do another flight. This was the one flight I'm going to do for today on the stream. But we're going to check really quick to see if the 408, which I know is a plane you have to remove stuff, like the chocks and then the pitot heat stuff, you know, covers. So we're going to see... Oh, someone's flying. Who's flying? Murphy's flying. We're going to just pick a random airport here. And we're going to see if we can do... If we can still start up the plane, or if it has, like, the things turned off. We're going to go here. Start flight. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I am not seeing anything. Oh yeah, I am seeing the chocks connected and the heats. Yeah, so all that's connected. You see, yeah, see those are all there, so I don't know if I can take those off. Drone mode? You can't do it in drone mode, right? No. And you can't do it through, so you can't do walk around mode at all. What does that do? Okay, so yeah, it disables walk around mode, which means any plane that has covers but doesn't have a way to do it in the plane, you cannot fly with the trick. Because you can't do it in here, right? Aircraft information. I didn't think you could. I don't use the EFB very often. Performance checklist. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So there's no way to fly this plane, I guess, with when you're using the PMDG trick to disable the... I guess I can try turning it on, but pretty sure. Yeah, there's no way to do it. Yeah, okay, so if you, just to keep that in mind, if you are going to be using that trick, anything that has covers and whatnot in the sim, or on the plane in the sim, will not be functional, unfortunately. So you can either keep doing the slew trick, which is spawning on the runway and then slewing over to the gate, or lose avatar ability. I always use the AFBs for the charts.
Pause system test. Okay.
I don't use it very often because I have a Navigraph, so I have it on my tablet. Also no career mode, which is fine. I don't use the career mode. When it first came out, I did, and I just stopped using it. So unless there's like some mod I don't know about that disables all the covers, which I would doubt it. It's a nice looking airplane though, for sure. It's fun to fly. So I guess you can, well, you can't just go back and forth either, because that's to rebuild the streamed packages. So you either lose some planes and fly the 737, or you spawn the runway. Those are really two options. But that's going to end today's stream. Thanks everyone for coming on in. Thanks for being guinea pig test with me to see how the GSX integration works with BeyondATC. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it still. I don't know if it did what it was supposed to do or not. It was so hard to tell. But either way, BeyondATC worked flawless for the most part. Obviously, we saw the 737 work pretty much flawless as well. So, two good things we figured out on the stream. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you for the next stream. Take care.